Take a look at this sentence. Next year, I will have been teaching English for 5 years. Which verb tense do you think this is? Will have been teaching. You're right. It is the future perfect continuous verb tense. Now here's how we make the future perfect continuous. We use the word will plus have plus been plus ing. Okay, like this. I will have been teaching blah blah blah, or she will have been working. Okay, let's take a look at a timeline. So here we are now. It's 2017. I'm thinking about the future. 2018. And let's say I started teaching English back in 2013. Okay, so now I'm thinking about next year. I could say, next year, I will have been teaching English for 5 years, right? 2013 to 2018 is 5 years. But if you asked me that now, if you said, Mark, how long have you been teaching English? Then I would have to use the present perfect continuous verb tense. I would say, well, I've been teaching English for 4 years, right? I have been teaching because it's the present perfect continuous. But now I'm thinking about the future. Okay, so I could say, next year I will have been teaching English for 5 years. Okay, so we're going into the future and then we're looking back. Okay, now what's the difference between the future perfect continuous and the future perfect? Next year I will have been teaching English for 5 years. Next year I will have taught English for 5 years. What's the difference between each of those? Well, they're pretty much the same thing. Here we're seeing the 5 years as one event. Okay, and here we're seeing the 5 years as sort of a process. Okay, I mean, in reality, they both mean basically the same thing. There might just be a very small difference. Okay, like if I say, I will have been teaching English for 5 years, it means that I'll be teaching English all the way up till 2018, and I'll probably continue teaching in the future. That's probably my plan, okay? If I say this, then you'll get the idea that I'm going to continue teaching. But if I say, next year I will have taught English for 5 years, then you might get the idea that I'm going to quit. You might get the idea that 2018 is my last year teaching English. Maybe I'll go on to do other things. Okay, so there's just a very small difference in meaning between both of those verb tenses. Okay, let's look at another example. When I move to Kazakhstan next year, my friend will have already been living there for 5 years. Okay, so when I move to Kazakhstan next year, my friend will have already been living there for 5 years. That means my friend moved there 4 years ago, and now I'm saying next year, my friend will have been living there for 5 years. Okay, that means my friend is going to be living there, and they'll probably continue living there after I arrive. But if I would say if I would say, when I move to Kazakhstan next year, my friend will have already lived there for 5 years, it might mean that, my friend is going to move away. Maybe I'll arrive and that's the last few months that my friend is there, and maybe my friend will leave. Okay, we don't know, but it has a little bit more of that meaning. Whereas if I use the future perfect continuous tense, then we're pretty sure the friend will stay living there. But if we use this, then we're not sure. The friend might leave. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Let's say that boy's dad is on a flight somewhere, and his flight left at 1 p.m., and now it's 6 p.m., and the boy's thinking, Dad will have been flying for 5 hours now. Okay, and then when the dad arrives, the boy might think, well, my dad's flight left at 1 o'clock and it was an 8-hour flight. So it's 10 o'clock now, so my dad will have arrived by now. I'm pretty sure my dad will have arrived by now. Okay, he's not sure because his dad hasn't called him, but he's doing the math in his head. Okay, he's looking at the watch. He's trying to calculate, yeah, I think my dad will have arrived by now. So you can see here we use the future perfect tense, not the future perfect continuous. Okay, when the dad was in the air, flying there, then we use the future perfect continuous, and after the dad arrived, then the boy would say, Dad will have arrived by now. Okay, this verb here, that's the past participle, right? Will have plus our strange verb. Okay, arrive is a regular verb, so it doesn't look very strange, but irregular verbs take the strange form in the past participle position. Okay, like gone, woken, those kind of verbs. Okay, so let's take a look at one more example here. In December, she will have been working at her company for 6 months. Okay, right now it's November, and we could say in December, she will have been working at her company for 6 months. Okay, and that means she's probably going to continue working there, right? We have no reason to believe that she's going to quit. But if we use the future perfect, if we said in December, she will have worked at her company for 6 months, then we might get a little idea in our minds that maybe she's going to quit after 6 months. Okay, so let's do some homework. I want you to make a sentence with the future perfect continuous tense. Try. Post it down there in the comments, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.